Welcome back to everyone, and today we are going to see the scope resolution in Python. Okay, so first we'll see the namespaces. What is namespaces? And namespaces means uh, that are all the variables which we have declared in our program. Okay, the variable names are all called namespaces. Okay, a namespace is a container where names are mapped to objects. Okay, so the object means list, dictionaries, tuples, sets, and booleans also called as objects. Okay, so they are used to avoid confusions in cases. That means, so already we know that Python is a case sensitive program. Okay, so in cases where same names exists in different namespaces, that means if you are using same variable in three or more places in our coding, or if we are used to assign a different kind of values in same variable. Okay, so they are created by modules, functions, and classes. Okay, scope, a scope defines the hierarchical order in which the namespace have to be searched in order to obtain the mapping of variables. Okay, so it is a context in which variables exist and from which they are referenced. Okay, so it defines the accessibility and the lifetime of variable. Okay, so the scope resolution, the Python is dealing with their variables using LEGP rule. Okay, so that means L is local variable, and E is enclosed variable, and G is global, and B is built-in functions. Okay, so first it will check if the local variable is there. Okay, so if it is not, it goes to enclosed variable. So if enclosed variable is not, it's to global, and after that it goes to built-in functions. Okay, so these order the Python will follow to deal with their variables. Okay, so in Python, the LEGP. Okay, so in Python, the LEGP rule is used to decide the order in which the namespaces are to be searched for scope resolution. Okay, so the scopes are listed below in terms of highest to lowest and narrowest to broadest. Okay, so first is local variable, defined inside the function or defined inside the statement, is called a local variable. And enclosed. Okay, so enclosed means the variable which is declared inside the while loop or for loop, are defined inside enclosing functions, that is nested function concept. Okay, so next is global variable. Okay, so defined at the toppermost level of our program. Okay, so and built-in reserved names in Python built-in modules. So finally, the Python checks the names are related to their built-in functions, like list, string, and uppercase, lowercase. These are our built-in functions. In finally, so it checks if the variable is equal to that built-in functions. Okay, so this way and this order, the Python deals with their variables. Okay, so let's see a couple of examples for scopes in Python. First, I'm going to create uh, pi equal to, and this is outer variable, right? So I'm going to give outer variable. So after that, so now I'm going to create or define a function. So named print underscore pi. Okay. So because here I'm going to print my pi variable. Okay. That's why I'm giving print underscore pi. Okay. So the print underscore pi is a namespace, or the pi also a namespace. Okay. And here I'm going to give open and close parenthesis. After that, just I'm going to give a, another value in same pi, the same variable. Okay. So here I'm going to give in a variable. Okay. So here I'm going to give in a variable. So after that, outside the function, I'm going to call a function that is named print underscore pi. Okay. So after that, I'm going to print pi using print function. So now you can see here in first line, I have called my function, and second line, so I'm going to print pi variable using print function. Okay. Now I'm going to run this. Just a minute. So if I copy this, and I'm going to run in separate set. Okay. Here. Okay. Now I get the answer. Okay. So first, I have called my function print pi. Okay. So in print pi, we have pi equal to inner variable. Okay. So after that, I have printed pi. Okay. So here we get inner variable. Okay. So after that, I'm going to print pi for using print function. Okay. That is outer variable. Okay. So and this pi is global variable. Okay. And this one is local variable. So the local variable, uh, it referenced only the function. Okay. So it is not callable from outside. Okay. So if you not call the function uh, outside the function, right? Okay. That's why it's called a local variable. Okay. And in pa we can use in any inside or local or enclosed variable. Okay. Because it is global variable, we can call the variable from anywhere. Okay. So that is the difference between local and global variable. So the local variable uh, will act as inside print underscore pi only. Okay. So let's see uh, some examples. Like I'm going to print my name with um, hello. Okay. So now I'm going to create a function, sorry, variable, declare a variable that is Shankar. After that, so now I'm going to create a for loop for I in like range equal to 0 comma 1. Okay. So I just uh, looping only one value. Okay. That's why I'm giving 0 comma 1. So after that, here I'm going to use if statement. So if true, and this program for just declaring the local and enclosed and global variable. Okay. That's all. So if true, print hello plus, or here I give comma my name. Okay, so here you can see here, and the name is global variable. Here I'm going to give some commands using asterisk global variable. Okay, so I'm going to run this. Now you can see here, hello Shankar. Okay, this is global variable. Okay, so after that, I'm going to create name equal to Dinesh. Okay, and this one is enclosed. Okay, so it is in for loop. Okay, so it is enclosed variable. Okay, and this name is called as enclosed variable. Okay, so now I'm going to run this. So I get hello Dinesh. Okay, then after that we'll go to local variable name equal to Suresh. Okay, so now you can see this is global and enclosed and local variable. So the name here I have so which is I have called here, and it first checks which one is nearest to it. Okay, so first it checks if the local variable is here, and it prints Suresh, and if it is not, it goes here and checks the name is in here. Okay, so if it is, and it prints Dinesh, and if it is not here, and goes to global variable. Okay, so now I'm going to run this. Now you can see here, first it checks the local variable. Okay, which is near to it. Okay, so it checks a name, and here we have a name equal to Suresh, and it prints the hello Suresh. Okay, so now I'm going to change this declaration into command line. Okay, so now we have enclosed variable. I'm going to run this. So now it prints hello Dinesh. Okay. So after that, I'm going to make command line. Okay. So now you can see here hello Shankar. Okay. And this is the order of Python it handles with their variables. Okay. First, it will check if any values in a local, and it prints that. So if it is not, it goes to enclosed variable. It goes and checks if any values in name. Okay, if it is here, it prints that value. Okay, so if it is not in enclosed variable, it goes to the upper, that is global variable. Okay, and checks here. If it is, it prints. If it is not, and goes to built-in functions. Okay, so and checks if any built-in function has named in a name. Okay, so if it is not, it prints error. Okay, so now I'm going to hide this. I will run this. So already name has stored Shankar. Okay, so that's why it prints like that. Okay, so first I'm going to uh, so I'll change the variables name into, I'll just delete the e here. Okay, so now I run this. It prints an error. So name num is not defined. Okay. So finally, it goes and checks if any names, or if any built-in function has named this variable. Okay. If it is not, it prints error. Okay. This is the order of Python handles with their variables. Okay. So let's see one more example for that. now we go with functions. Okay, so I just give pi equal to global variable. Okay, so after that I'm going to create a function, that is def enclose. Okay, and after that I'll give some colon here, and pi equal to enclosed variable. Okay, so here I'm going to give if class, if true, pi equal to local variable. Okay, so now I'm going to just print this. Okay, print pi. So I run this. Now I call the function enclose. Okay, I'm going to run this. So now you can see here, so in the pi, first it prints local variable because it is uh, near to the print function, right? So near to the print function. After that I'm going to hide this. So now I run this, that is enclosed variable. Okay, so inside the function it is called enclosed variable, and after that I'm going to hide this. Now you can see that is global variable. Okay, and this is the difference between global and enclosed and local variable. Okay, so the rule is LEGB rule, and first it checks local variable, and second it checks enclosed variable, and third global variable, and finally it goes to built-in functions. Okay, and this is the scope of Python. Okay, so it is called a Python scope. And next we'll go to errors and exception handling in Python. Okay, so okay, so errors and exception handling, and this is most important topic in Python. Okay, so errors are bound to happen in your code, right? So if any developer have make some errors, so if you make more errors, we can develop our coding skills. Okay, so especially when someone else ends up using it in an unexpected way. Okay, so we can use error handling to attempt to plan for possible errors. So for example, a user may try to write to a file that was only open in mode R. So we already know that. So we have already seen in our file handling session. So in write option, we have to use mode W or WB for binary, or for a text we have to use W. Okay, so here the user uh, tries to open or tries to write their file by using R mode. Okay, so the R is for read only, right? So if ER try to write a file, we have to use W. Okay, so this is error, right? Okay, so currently if there is any type of error in your code, the entire script will stop. Okay, so if any error in your code, that is in first line, if you're typing 1000 or 1500 line, the error is in your second or third line. So simply the Python uh, prints an error and comes out without your program. Okay, so it simply prints an error. Okay, so we can use error handling to solve this problem. Okay, so let the script continue with other code. So if even if there is an error, so we use these three keywords for this. Okay, so for an uh, error handling method. Okay, so try, uh, first we'll go with try block. Okay, this is the block of code to be attempted, so may lead to the to an error. So okay, so we can use these kind of errors in try block. That is, here the user uses or mode to write their file. Okay, so it is error. Okay, so we can pass the code into try block. Okay, so it is tries that block if it has no error, and simply it goes to the output. If it has any other error, okay, simply it goes to the exception block. If any error in try block, it goes to exception block. Okay, so all you guys know that. So if you are have internet connection, or if you are forget to on our internet in your phone, so if you go with YouTube or other application, it simply prints server not connected, or checks your internet connectivity. Or if you go with YouTube, it simply tells, so your network is not connected, and or the network has any error in your network. Okay, so and you have some downloaded files, and you go and check that it prints like that. Okay, or it shows like that. Okay, so in that kind of situations, we can use try and exception block. Okay, so the try block uh, try to connect the server. So if the network is not, or if any fluctuation in network, or if uh, I forgot to on my network in internet connection in my phone. Okay, so and it goes to exception block, and it prints, or it has some codes to execute for some other tasks, like you go to downloads and see your videos, or your or simply prints your server not connected, right? Okay, in that kind of situation, we can use try and exception block. If any error in try block, it goes to exception. Okay, so in exception, we can do some programs, or we can just print the error. Okay, so we can have option to uh, print in specific errors. We can declare what type of that is in type error, or syntax error, or somewhat error. Okay, we can declare here, and we can pause the statement. Okay, so if it is in type error, so your type, you have to check your type, or we can print, you can check your type, or you can check your server. Okay, so we can do like that. Okay, then finally, so we already know that what is try and exception. So if any error in try block, it goes with exception, and exception do some codes, or just print some words uh, in your code, or uh, next the finally. Okay, so the finally, it won't uh, check try or exception. Okay, so if any error, then tries, and if no error in try block, it won't disturb, and finally it prints that value. That's all. Okay, so a final block of code to be executed regardless of an error. Okay, so let's see the examples on Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so So first I'm going to define a function. Okay, so called add, and here I'm going to pass n1 comma n2 arguments. After that, just I'm going to add the n1 plus n2. Okay, so I'm going to run this. Now I call my function and add, and here I'm going to pass 12 comma 23, and it prints the output. Okay, so no problem in here. If I'm going to declare a equal to 10, and I'm going to get a user value like b equal to input, and here I'm going to pass enter the value. So you already knew that input has written only string value, right? If we want integer or float, we have to convert the input into integer or float data type. Okay, so here I simply leave it. Okay, so after that I'm going to call my function. Now I'm using a comma b. Okay, I'm going to run this. So if ask value, I'm going to give 12. I run this, so it prints error. Okay, so here you can see here. So for plus, int, and string. Okay, so here the a is 10 and b is string value. Okay, this is integer data type and b is string data type. Okay, so in this case we can use try an exception block. Okay, let's see that. Here you have to give your try block in small case, right? So after that, I'll do some commands here. So 1, 2, attempt this code, okay, and may have an error. Okay, so then after that, I'm going to declare a variable result equal to 10 plus 10. Okay, after that, here I'm going to give except black, and this also in lowercase, except colon, and hit enter. Here you can pass your exception codes or whatever you want, you can pass here. I'm going to just print there and to have an error in your data type. Okay, so I just pass this. Okay, I just pass this. I'm going to run this. So it is syntax error. Oh, here, oops, except, right? Okay, so now we run this. So here I'm going to print the result. Okay, I run this, I get 20. Okay, there is no problem in here because 10 is integer and 10 is also integer. It simply add both and prints 20. Here I'm going to give float. Now also no problem in here. So then I'm going to change a string. Okay, so now I'm going to run this. Okay, now you can see here, so try has an error. Okay, the result equal to 10 plus string. So we already know that We can't add string into integer and string into float data type. Okay, so that's why it gets an error and it goes to exception block, that is except block, and it prints you have an error in your data type. Okay, and here I'm going to change this. Now I run this, I get 20. Okay, so you can add uh, both string value. Okay, so this is called a string concatenation, right? Here I get 1010. Okay, and let's see one more example. So now I'm going to create a text file, open, and here I'm going to give the colon slash slash and Python projects, that is my folder, and here I'm going to give 123.txt. Okay, and this file is not in this location. Okay, so I'm going to create this. Before that, so while creation, here I'm going to use mode R. Okay, this is an error, right? After that, I'm going to give f dot write some value like a sample text. Okay, here I'm going to use except. Okay, then print check your mode. Run this. So it prints check your mode, and here I'm going to change tuple u. Okay, so we can't see any output here because the value has created in this disk, I think so. I'm going to open this, and we Python projects. So now you can see here the 123.txt has created. Okay, so you can use the error headings also in your exception block. Okay, so here I'm going to copy this for knowing the error heading. Okay, so I'm going to run separately, and here I'm going to use R for writing the text value. So now you can see here the unsupported operation. Okay, so you can copy this and paste into here. Okay, so then this exception will only works on when the unsupported operation error has occurred. Okay, so here I'm going to type the error is, okay, comma, unsupported operation. So here I'm going to change R. I run this, so it gives an error. The name error unsupported is not defined. Okay, so I'm going to remove this and paste into here. After that, here I just use except one more except for if any other error, sorry, any other error will happen, it will work, right? So print something happen. Okay, I run this. So it likes during handling the above exception, other exception occurred. Okay, I'm going to give 1, 2, 3, 4. Same error. Okay, copy this. I need to stop the Jupyter notebook and restart it. Then after, I'm going to run this. It's still loading. I'm going to open a new file. Okay. So here I'm going to pass this. So no such file or directory during handling the above exception, and another exception has occurred if the name is not defined. Okay, so let's see one more example. Skip that and try. Here I'm going to do the same operation which we have seen in earlier. Result equal to in result equal to 10 plus string of 10. Okay, it prints unsupported operand and the error is type error. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Here I'm going to use try block, give tab for try, and here I'm using except. Okay, that is type error. After that, here I'm print type error. After that, I just give one more exception here. I'm going to print when wrong. Okay, so now you can see here. So the error is type error. Okay, and it goes here and prints type error. Okay, so we can pass the exception block for each error type. Okay, then so here I'm going to give one. Okay, so we know that we can't use numbers in front of variables. Okay, I'm going to run this. So in syntax error, that is invalid syntax. Okay, so you can also use the syntax error into your exception block. Okay, so now we run this, won't get anything. Okay. So now you can see here. So I'm using double equal for assigning the value. Okay. So it checks if it is type error, it goes here and print type error. Okay. So and then if it is syntax error, it goes and print there's something went wrong as text. Okay. So here and this is assigning error. Okay. So it goes to here and prints just an error. Okay. So we can use the error titles into our exception block. Okay. So next, I will see the else block. Okay. So here I'm going to print just else block. Okay. I run this. So now you can see here, so it has error. Okay. It goes to exception block and prints error. Okay. So if any error not in try block, it goes to else. Okay. So after if the exception block runs, okay, so the else block won't run. Okay. So here I'm going to correct the value 10%. So now you can see here, and also the equality. Okay. So now you can see here there is else block. So okay. So if try has no error, and the else block will execute. If try block has any error, it goes to exception and the else block won't run. Okay. And then next we'll go with finally. Here I just print finally. Okay. I run this. So now you here I print the result. Okay. So now you can see. So try has no error and it prints 20. So finally, the final block get executed and it prints uh, the print statement which we have declared in here. Okay. Then here I'm to change 10 into string. I run this. It prints error. Okay, because here we have an error and it goes to exception block, and finally it prints final state. Okay, so the final uh, it won't take care of these try and exception block. So if the try block has error or not, the finally block will print their function. Okay, and the finally it you should to close your databases and close your documents like here. uh, I'll show one example here. I just print server or your document is open. Okay, and in this line we have no error. Okay, here I'm going to give some. Okay, so this is invalid syntax, right? So for a print function, so after that, here I give a print error. Okay, here I just print document close. Okay, so I'm going to run this. Or okay, so here we make some result concept equal to 10 plus 10, and here okay. Now you can see. So first it prints document is open. Okay, so if we are using a server connection line in here, or open function. Okay, so if you are performing open function in here, okay, so first it will open the document. Okay, then the document is open, and by the next line it gets error. Okay, so if we or not close the document, okay, so it will cause some errors like anyone can easily crack the file, or we can't open and close the file, or we can't edit the file. Okay, so while the file is open, we can't edit and save the file, right, in your local system. Okay, so in finally is user to, if it is, if the file has an error, or if the file is not having error. Okay, so the finally is automatically runs and close your document. Okay, and this is the sample example for final statement. Okay, and so do you have any error in try and finally block? Yochana, do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Yeah, is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you so much. uh, please do your practice. Okay, then we'll meet tomorrow. Thank you all.